Hello? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't even know if this is going to work. I've got people that write me being like, are you going to go live today? And like, I didn't get a notification. So is YouTube not giving out my notifications now that I'm getting ready to start? Like, who knows? At this point, it might just be one person. Oh, there's two. There's two people in here. Let me know in the chat if you can even hear me. Who knows? Who knows? Like, oh my God, this is like all the way up. It was at the highest volume. All right, let me know. Can you hear me in the chat? Oh, Brayden, you were number 2. Oh, nice to see you. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Brayden. You can hear me. Wonderful. It might just be us, guys. It might just be us here tonight. Yeah. So, where do I even start? So this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm just going to have to pretend like I'm doing like a video recording too at the same time, so that I don't like hyper focus on chat stuff, right? And the fact that I'm worried that my YouTube notification is not getting sent out. Like, I almost want to send it out on Facebook again real quick and just be like, hey, although I do know there were some other people that were doing some lives tonight or doing some other shows tonight, which I totally understand, because I know, like, okay, Journey to Truth, I think, is doing a good one tonight. Like, so, I forget what it was about, gene decoding or something like that. You know, so, all right, we're just going to go ahead and do this. All right, I'm going to share this to Facebook real quick. Live now. Live now. Come hang out. Okay. Which is really funny because, you know, on my actual Facebook post, I got more action on my Facebook posts, promotion for this, than I usually do on my promos. So, yes, that one, the top one. Okay, so here we go. All right, let's start this bad boy up, shall we? Let's do this. So first of all, for anyone who joined me last week and participated in the prayers and the visualizations that we did for California, the California wildfires, right? All right, okay, hold on. You know, I gotta take a hit of the vape first here. So, considering I'm a little bit nervous because, like I said, I'm stressing out about my YouTube now. Like, is my YouTube? Did I do something wrong? Right? Did I do something wrong on making the ticket? Wow, can I talk? Okay, yeah, I'm going to be able to talk. We're going to do this. Okay, so first of all, you know, when I asked for God to give us confirmations about, like, were we successful in, you know, at least contributing somewhat with our prayers and our visualizations to help California and the wildfires, you know, I really was kind of like, oh man, I don't know how God is going to be able to give me a confirmation for this, or like that there was, at least we assisted somehow. But then the very next day, I started getting tagged. Okay, now if you were in posts where people were pointing something out to me, and I just thought this was really, really, really strange, guys. Okay, because, you know, what did we visualize? We visualized a big blue jelly bubble like thing, right? And we put it, it's going to be like a Tux medicated pad, right? It's going to put the fire out. Well, I started getting tagged the very next day. People who didn't even watch the stream, they started tagging me in how all the roofs that were painted blue, all the cars that were painted blue, all the things that were blue colored did not burn. I find that rather interesting. You know, like how things are interconnected. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I'm going to let that be good enough for me in my realm, in my world that I live in, where I'm trying to assist. I'm trying to feel like I make a difference. And I'm trying to help other people feel like they make a difference. Like, to me, that felt like a difference. Okay, that felt like Okay, that is God telling me, like, yes, you absolutely are assisting. And you got, all of us were. All of us were, really. Like, what a strange coincidence, right? There are no such thing as coincidences. That, coincidences, okay, and synchronicity. I heard something just recently, and it was like a lot of things about Carl Jung now have been popping up, obviously, because I've been talking about it on my live stream. So AI is going to pick up on that. And so now it's bringing me things, all having to do with Carl Jung, different little things. And I thought it was so interesting the way he basically referred to that nudge, that synchronicity, okay, that coincidence, as being like the call to adventure. That's what it is. It's the call to adventure. It's God's call to adventure. And if you remember, like, that is what they literally told me that I was when I came to this planet, that I was a warrior adventurer. And so I feel like that is what I have been following. When I've been following my heart gets inspired, like I've been following the call to adventure that God has been directing me on and steering me on as I go down this path. So I just thought that was very interesting. And then not only that, but my friend Mario, he also had a dream synchronicities about where 3 years ago at the same time he had a dream about fighting fire tornadoes and things of that nature. And I'm just like, dude, that is real. This dream stuff, certain dream space, this is real stuff. Dreams are real. Like, yes, some of them I believe are your mind processing whatever you went through the day. Like, for normies, let's just say, like, for the most part, they're going to take it as, okay, this is like a accumulation of things going on in my life, or things that I've not picked up on my subconscious, and it's going to present itself in some form in my dream for me to decode, right? And there probably is always some sort of that going on. But for others of us, these dreams are much different, and they're just different spaces. They're different. It's different frequencies. Like when you're in the mind, like in the past when I was like in having mind dreams, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be in my house. It would always be in my house. Like that supposedly represents your mind, right? And then outside of that is, for instance, okay, like when we were talking about the dream I had last week where I saw the lightning strikes that basically showed up outside of me, as every time I was going to go deliver a baby as a midwife, I would see a lightning strike, right? But I just remember this one specific dream where I was in my house. It was around the same time. I was in my house and there was a bright spotlight, and the spotlight was so fucking bright, and it was all around my house. Okay. But then there was a boundary, and right outside the boundary was complete and total pitch black. You know what I'm saying? So what that felt like to me was the light of the God consciousness shining upon my mind. Like that was like a symbol that my crown chakra was open and there was light pouring in on it. Right? Oh, hello there, Hall and Sass. Nice to see you. Okay, so anyway, to get back to some of the stuff that I was talking about the dreams. Anyway, so I actually saw, me and Mario actually had done missions together before in the past. So I already knew this guy was the real deal. I already know he's the real deal. And he really is. I've watched him grow even as a speaker and as a YouTube content creator and everything. I can say like, it is just getting better and better. He's like really hit his stride, it seems like. And it's just an absolute pleasure to listen to him and all the information. So if you don't know him, go follow him at Unscripted Liberation Codes. I'm pretty sure is his YouTube channel name, right? So anyway, I saw him in angelic form. Like when I saw him in the dream space, I saw him and he had angel wings. So I already know, like, and I already know, like, I got angel frequencies to me, angelic frequencies. Okay, so this is part of how we're soul family. He's one of them. Okay. So the other thing, so anyway, to sum that up, blue didn't burn. We did a meditation and a visualization and a prayer for a big giant blue bubble to put the fires out and to keep them out. Okay. And then everything that was painted blue or colored blue did not burn. Thought that was crazy. So I was also inspired, crazily, oddly enough, okay, to get this new supplement. And I'll show you it. It's called methylene blue. Okay. And it's literally like a blue dye. I'm just going to show you a little bit. Like, it's a blue dye. I don't know if you can see in the light. It's very pretty. So anyway, you put these drops into water and you drink it, and it's supposed to heal your mitochondrial DNA. Yes, Dennis, exactly. What is real? You know? All right. Yes. So let's continue. So anyway, I started this, and it's also supposed to give you an energy boost. It's also supposed to help you think more clearly, like prevent Alzheimer's. I think it had some cancer curing agents in it even. So yeah, I'm just started it. So I'll be updating you guys on the effects that I feel from this. Okay. So anyway, getting back to that. So I'm going to be letting you guys know about the blue, but I just thought that was so funny. Like, I'm just going full blue here, guys. We're going full blue timeline. Okay. Blue puts out the fires. We're taking a blue supplement to heal my mitochondrial DNA. Okay. And then that brings me to the fact that, so I've been planning this live stream right for the past week. Oh, Terry. Hi, Terry. So nice to see you. And ACA Alex, nice to see you as well. Oh, yes. Hold on. I'm reading something. Someone's talking about the supplement I'm taking. All right. So Holland says, make sure you take Trace Minerals brand 4000 V minerals with the methylene blue. You know, I do take Trace Minerals already, but I take them through Ormus, you know, but yeah, if there's a specific brand, is the brand 4000 V minerals. You know, I'm going to look into that, Holland says, because I want to make sure that I do this right. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I take this properly and correctly. The brand is Trace. Okay, got it. All right. Hi, Geraldine. Very nice to see you. So anyway, this past week, you know, as usual, I'm sitting there and I'm, you know, trying to write my streams in my mind, right? I'm going over all the different things that I'm preparing to talk about, not just this week, but in future weeks. Like, I have future weeks already, like, okay, we got this. We're like, Spirit is guiding me. God is helping me. And so I kind of, some of the topics, man, some of the topics that Spirit's asking me to go into, I'm like, man, this is like going to be quite uncomfortable, I think, you know? And I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, but I'm inspired to do it. Like, it might be uncomfortable, but I want to talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? And as a midwife, okay, especially specifically, because we already got into it some, right? With the dangerous method, right? And the fact that patterns from childhood show up later on in life, all right? Even regarding sexuality and stuff like that. And, you know, as a midwife, I did have to get very comfortable with sexuality, because making babies and then getting babies out is actually a sexual process, believe it or not. Like, getting them out, you would think, yeah, getting them in, that makes sense. But no, getting them out requires just as much consideration as you would when you were making the baby. All right. It requires privacy. It requires quiet sounds, soothing sounds, low light, feeling supported, feeling safe, you know, all those types of things. Because literally giving birth is, you have to be in a place where, okay, and this is why a lot of women struggle in the hospital to not have this happen, is because it's almost like having an orgasm. Okay, when you go to have birth, okay, when you go to give birth, all right, if you're being watched and you're being told, okay, like, you're on a timer, you got this long, every hour you're supposed to dilate 1 centimeter. If you don't, well, then we're going to force you to. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, the whole act of it in itself is supposed to be treated sacredly, just as much as you would the act itself, creating the baby itself, you know. And so that was one of the reasons that I really went into midwifery. So anyway, I realized, you know, like, that was when I originally had to get comfortable with sexuality. Okay, which my walk-in was not of me, the walk-in, right? That I was not comfortable with that. Cassandra had a lot of experience with that. And it's hard. It's weird for me to have to talk about myself in this kind of a way, but because we are one now. But I need you guys to realize there's like this cutoff point where the new consciousness took over. And yeah, we got that side partner of all the past experiences and everything like that. Okay. But, this was something that I really had to go through all of the files on and realize, like, okay, this was something this is really important to humans. Like, this is part of the creative process, is that sexual energy spark to it. So as a midwife, I had to get very comfortable with that. All right. And so in order to try and heal myself in the ways that regard sexuality and stuff like that. Oh, I see Chastity just popped in. Hi, Chastity. Nice to see you. Okay, so in order to do that, I realized, I was asking Spirit, out of all these things that I'm going over in my mind for the streams for the next couple of weeks, I'm just like, what are we even doing here? And so, and they were like, it's a burlesque show, basically. That's what they compared it to. Okay, and that's why I have my promo picture as, if you don't recognize it, okay, it's from one of my favorite movies growing up. I watched this movie so many times with my mom and my sister, and to the point where I even went and saw a play version of it at the Fox Theater in downtown Detroit. And it was fun. It was great. And it's called Gypsy. It's called Gypsy. Okay, that's the movie. It's called Gypsy. And it starred Natalie Wood in it. And she was, the main lead who, okay, let me try to give a brief summary of it if you don't know what this movie is, because it's beautiful. You can see her dress. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We started off with her mom, basically, had her and her sister, and she was basically like a stage mom. You know how they have that show Dance Moms or whatever, where the moms are like getting their daughters out there to dance and everything like that. They're pushing them. And so this was back in like the early 1900s when Broadway and the vaudeville acts or whatever were really popular. And so the mom had 2 children and the daughters, right? And so she created a whole act. She got other children involved. And her favorite daughter, which was the younger one with the blonde hair, she always got to be the lead. All right. And so for the other daughter, Natalie Wood's character, the brown haired girl, she never got to be, she was always just like the supporting role until eventually it died, right? Vaudeville, those types of shows, they started going out of business. And so towards the end of this movie, okay, the daughter, the star of the show, she runs off to be with the boy. And so all the mother is left with is the older daughter. All right. And they're even doing performances in a burlesque house. They're doing the day show, and then the burlesque show would come on at night. And so they're kind of desperate for money. And so the guy who was running the theater basically proposes that if you want to stay, then have your daughter basically get out there. And the mother is like, this is a chance. Like, you could be seen, you could be discovered. This could lead to something else. So she pushes her daughter to do it, even though her daughter doesn't even really want to do it. But once she gets that blue dress on that you see in the promo picture, she gets that blue dress on. And this is the moment for her where she's looking in that mirror. And for the first time ever, she realizes she's pretty. She's actually pretty, And she had never known that. She'd never been given the stage to be that. And so she goes out and she's real nervous at first. And she, her mom's like, don't worry, you don't really have to do really much of anything. You just like give them a shoulder slip, take off your glove, and it'll be fine. So that's what she does. But then she discovers that she likes it. It was the first time she was the star of the show. And she discovers that she's actually really good at it. And so the last part of the movie is just all the acts that she does and how much she just blooms. And she just becomes this amazing version of herself as a beautiful burlesque dancer. And I'll tell you, I used to daydream about that. Like, man, that would be so cool. I thought that would be so much fun to be a burlesque dancer, like be able to dress up in those beautiful outfits and do the dance and take them off. Like, it just gets more beautiful every layer down. And so this is what Spirit told me we were getting ready to do. Basically, they're saying we're doing basically a burlesque show here. I am going to slowly take off layer by layer all the things of who I am, so that you can see me in my true form for who I am, for real. And then we're going to be able to show Cassandra, who's been afraid to be seen, like most of us, afraid to be perceived. We're showing her bit by bit, every week, a little bit more revealed, a little bit more revealed, a little bit more revealed. We're showing her, look, it's not that bad. look, you didn't have to be afraid of this. All these hang-ups and all of these past traumas that you had where you were made to feel ashamed and rejected and humiliated and degraded or whatever it was. Like, look, that time has passed. Look where you're at now. Look, you're able to be seen. You're able to share your story. And you're still okay. You know? And that's the thing. It's why I've been calling it the purge. I've just been purging all of it. And the more I do, it's like the more my psychic abilities are being amplified somehow. It's almost like there's more space for God to give me more messages, right? And so they've been giving me a lot more words, specific like words. They've been saying different words that I don't understand the meaning of, and then I have to go and I have to find the word and figure out what it means. And it's like, and it's always so meaningful. It's always so symbolic and powerful. So that is what we're doing. And another thing that they showed me too, when I was thinking about this, okay, was it was reminding me actually of back in my 20s when I had my first awakening, you know, and I would meditate on God and I would ask God, like, help me understand how you work, how all of these things work. And so they did. They gave me an image in my mind, and I drew the image for you guys so you could see. And they said, this is kind of how things get pulled in. This is God right here. Like, this is how God showed me how things get formed, how we are existing. So like over here, this is where everything comes from. This is all light. Imagine like this is white, and then what? This is dark. Okay, so this is light. This is where everything comes from. This is where everything is formless. All energies are one here. They're all one thing. Okay, and then see, there's this portal, there's this link through which every single thing that we find out here that we can see now, okay, this is where the forms take shape. So everything that you see here in the world of the forms is also has an equal pair in this place, in this space where everything is one. Okay, and so basically the way I understood it was that energy, when it comes from the everything, the formless, and it's pulled through here, okay, it must be clothed in order to be seen. Okay, it has to be clothed with light. It has to be clothed with sound. Okay, this is why we give things labels. All right, because if you take all those labels off and you take all of the outside appearance off, it all always goes back to the same thing, which is the one, which is the source. You know, love, light, God, all of those things. So yeah, so anyway, that's what we're doing here. Like I said, I am taking off layer by layer so you can see me. Because like I've said before, you know, you can't, we all want to be loved, right? And how can someone else love you if you don't reveal yourself to them? You know what I'm saying? If you don't give them an opportunity to know you and to know what you are and who you are, you know? Anyway. So let's go ahead and start getting into some of the topics that I have listed on my promo. But I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick here because I'm definitely glad. I was really worried, guys. I was really worried here at the beginning. I'm so glad to see that there's at least freaking 8 people here right now, because when I first started, people were, like I said, people were telling me they weren't getting the notification, and I wasn't even sure anyone was going to be here. Okay. Oh, Terry, I used to be an artist. I was actually really, really good at it. I should break out. I lost all my art though. I could do really good drawings. That one wasn't the best, but you know, I would definitely make something for you, a little picture. So let's see. You know who has been doing really nice little works though? Piper Paprika. She posted a picture she made the other day, and I could literally feel the energy coming through it. It was really, really beautiful. And hi, Hope. Nice to see you too. Is there anyone else I missed though? I don't want to. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, so let's get into the topic, right? Which is how to manifest, how to use your astral body to manifest into the dream space. Okay, now, first of all, I am still trying to figure out all the different terms of what it is that I'm actually doing. Like, I've been asking God for help, and the thing that inspired me to watch a video on this week was about how every human being has 7 bodies. Okay. And how, I don't even know if I'm going to remember all of them, but I know the ones that I was focusing on was like etheric body, astral body. I think there was a causal body, the physical body, so, because I'm trying to figure out, it's like, okay, obviously when I'm connecting to people in the astral, okay, like I have to be connecting to them. I don't necessarily have to be connecting to them in their physical body. I can be connecting to them in a different body of theirs. Okay. Not that I can't connect to people physically, because I have been able to do that before too, when it comes to trying to do energetic healings. Okay. Like I did, this is how I know that this stuff can work, the dancing, the music, um, and going into that meditative state. And I'll just tell you, I'll give you a brief example before we jump into some of the other ones that I have. Okay. So I had this one girlfriend, I had her name, beautiful Amanda. And so I was gonna do I was in school at the time with the Earth Star Healer. Okay. And so what I was doing was I was testing to see if I could do a body scan on her. Okay. And see, and just write down like what it was I was feeling and seeing. And then I was going to tell her about it afterward. All right. So when I do that, and I used to do the same thing when I was a midwife. See, that's why I need to be kind of hopping back and forth between, it's like a movie when you do a flashback, so to speak. It's like, okay, here's this scene going on, and now we take a moment and we pause and we look back. All right. And we say, okay, look, here's this other scene. And then that interplays with what's going on in this moment. Right. And that's why I'm going to have to keep bringing up stuff about from when I was a midwife. Okay. So I used to do this with the women that were pregnant in our practice too. I used to do this in order to see how far along they were in labor and see the position of the baby. And what I would do is I would just meditate and I would go into their bodies. That's why I just imagine myself, there's like a little hole, and I just slide right in to the body. And then I just go based on what I'm feeling. I can almost like look inside like an x-ray. You know what I'm saying? I could see where the baby was positioned. I could see the type of clothes they were wearing, what they were doing, what type of energy they were feeling at that moment. I would just test it. I would just write down. And then if I was getting called to the labor, I would ask them, like, I would see, first of all, what are they wearing those clothes? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's their environment like? Just double check. So in this particular case, though, my friend Amanda, I was working on her. I did the thing, right? I got a song out. Because that's the thing, the music, it lights up the heart for me. It sparks the energy body, right? And so I'm turned on and I'm doing the dances, I'm doing whatever I was doing at the time, and I'm seeing her, I'm putting myself into her, and I'm feeling around. I'm like running up and down the energy body to see all the different things that I sensed. The only thing that I really sensed off was around her eye. It was like, okay, because I could feel the way the energy travels like this, okay, up the body like this, okay. So I could feel that there was something going on with one of her eyes. It felt off kilter because of how it felt in my body. It felt that way in my body as I was moving the stuff around, okay. And so because I could feel that it was off over here around her eye, all right, I started using my energy body and I started using my intention and started pushing the energy through to reconnect this line that was like loosened. It's like imagine like a bright cord of light, and it's thicker on this part, and then it got thin and maybe dims down, okay, in this one part. And so I was pushing that energy. And so the next day, I told her about it. I told her, hey, I did this energy. I did the energy body scan thing, and here's what I got. Here's your report, basically. And I told her that there was something going on with her eye. I explained the whole thing to her. And she said, well, that's kind of funny because I just so happened to have an eye doctor appointment today. I'm like, oh, wow. Nice synchronicity, right? And so she goes to this eye doctor appointment. And as it turns out, her optic nerve was on its way to trying to detach from her eyeball for some reason. Like, how, like, I know that can happen to people because it's happened to my stepdad before a long time ago on both of his eyes. He had to have surgery on both of them. So she had this issue where there was something going on there and it was thinning. It was getting ready to break. And they said, it's a good thing that you had eye surgery before. We can tell that you had eye surgery before. And she said, no, I haven't. What do you mean? I have not had eye surgery before. And they said, yeah, look. And they showed her the scan or whatever. And they said, see right here, this types of marks right here, that shows that like you could only get that from having like an eye surgery. It's a healing. Basically, it was already being healed. It's like what it kept it good long enough for her to actually get the surgery that she was going to need to get fully repaired. Okay. So this stuff works. You know, how else can you explain that? They say she had surgery. Like, first of all, let's just even throw that out, because it's not like I'm trying to have a big ego about it or anything. I'm just asking God for confirmations that I'm working in conjunction with spirit here. And these are the things I'm getting. You know, it's like, how many coincidences have to be enough before you realize that it's mathematically impossible for all these things to be lining up and coinciding? So yeah. So anyway, she had the eyeball scan. She had, you know, they said, thank God you had the surgery. She's like, I didn't ever have this surgery. And she ended up getting fixed, thank God. So this is how I can tell. I'm like figuring out, okay, so these spaces I'm going to, they're real spaces. Okay, these astral spaces that I can take myself to. All right, like for instance, we already know with the January 6th that I saw the guy with the bullhorns in the astral. Had no idea that he was going to be such a key figure in the whole ordeal. All right, so I was thinking about it. And there was actually this meme that I posted not that long ago, and it was about, I realized, and then I couldn't stop realizing, and then it shows like, you know, a smiley face, and like a smiley face with like a halo, and then like a smiley face with like 3 halos, and it's got a couple eyes, and then it's like the smiley face, but it's like open, and it's got one eyeball in the center of this dark, and then one eyeball on the outside. And I'm like, that's a really good representation actually of the 2 types of spaces that I'm talking about. Okay, because there's an inside astral space that you can go to. I don't even know if I would call it an astral space. I don't know what I would call that space. There's an inside space that you can go to. Okay, and there's an outside space that you can go to astrally. Okay, for the inside one, I've always noticed the inside one as it's like I'll be in a dark room. So like just like the meme shows with the little eyeball in the black outside of it, and then, you know, so that's what it would look like. It'd be like I was in like a room or a cave. Like I can't, it's like blurry, not blurry, it's like dark around the outside, but there's this light just like shining down. So like a cave system. Like sometimes I see it as like a grotto. Okay, and it's got like moss and glowing mushrooms and a stream. It's got like a little river stream that's like turquoise. It's got turquoise in there. I don't know if I like painting the picture. I'm trying to pull it forward so anyone who can pick up on the stuff telepathically, you might actually even see it. You know, it's got like an altar thing, it is rock. It's made out of like a canyon, like the cave system, whatever. It's like a brown sandy kind of rock. So yeah. So anyway, I noticed that there's an inside space, this astral space, where you can go inside and you can experience things inside. You can practice doing things on the inside, but then there's also an outside astral space. And it took me a while to learn to be able to even identify the differences and the feelings of them. And I'll show you how it started showing up for me. Okay. So here is another example I'm going to give you guys about how the astral, and this is why, again, like, this is why I kept thinking, like, you know, it'd be one thing to only have these things and these thoughts happening in my own mind, but now they're starting to show up outside of me in other really weird, crazy ways. So let me just take a breath here for a second. I just wanted to say hi to the Banshee. I love that. I love your name, Banshee. That's cool. I think about banshees sometimes. I'm like, yeah, the Banshee call, right? Midwest night watchers. Nice to see you again. Yeah, so happy to have people here. Okay, anyway. So here's the example. I had this girlfriend, okay? And she was having issues with her husband. And this guy was not being very nice to her. It had been quite a few incidences at this point where he's just not being very nice to her. And so I told her, all right, girl, you know, I was like, I'm tired of this. You know, this is one of my really good friends. And I was just like, I am I'm going to take care of it for you, I said to her. And so I went into my meditative state. And I went into that astral. I imagine myself, okay? So, like, you literally have to direct your consciousness. I don't know how else other than put it than this, okay? Like, when you think about it, you just imagine yourself going to that place, okay? I just imagine, just like how I would imagine with the women that I was going to go help deliver their babies. I would just imagine, I call in their name, who it is I'm trying to contact, and I would sense them, and I would just go to them. I could just feel it. It's like it's like you have to do it with intention. Okay, the intention of your consciousness is what drives you to wherever it is you're going to be going or doing. Okay, and so I told her, all right, I got this. So I went into the astral space and I found him. And I ran right up to him and I got right in his face. And I slapped him across the face super hard. And then I grabbed him by the back of the neck and I put him to the ground and I said, be nice to your wife. Be nice to your fucking wife, basically. And I let him go. All right. And so came out of that space and I waited. We wait now, right? Well, a couple hours later, her husband took a nap. He wakes up from this nap. Apparently, he had a dream where some big guy, came and got right into his face and slapped him across the face. And I thought to myself, I can show up as different things. I can show up as a man. I know that had to have been me. I know that had to have happened because he picked up on that in the, I don't know, that at the astral space, it came to him. Okay. In that dream space, after I put that out there. So I'm like, wow, okay. So I can show up as other people when I send out this energy, when I have these daydreams, right? That I think I'm having. At that point, I knew it was going to be more than a daydream. I just figured he'd energetically feel it. I didn't think it would actually show up in a dream though. So that was very interesting that showed up in a dream. And so I started noticing that with other people later on, you know what I'm saying? And I started practicing it. Okay. I started practicing it specifically with my ex. Okay. He was a willing participant, so I would tell him, and I still try to do this today too, when I have the energy or the motivation to try and line it up. Right. So I used to do the same thing with my ex. I'd be like, I would visualize, I would daydream myself as in the astral, right? I would daydream myself as a completely different person, right? Like a different version of myself. A lot of times it would be this version of myself where when I was younger, okay, and I had dark brown hair, all right? I would pick different versions because I wanted to see how accurately it would come through in the dream space. I wanted to test that, okay? And he was very good at getting it. And then so I would actually even ask him, okay, I need you to remember the details. So I'm going to try and put a scene, a play of some sort, the daydream. I'm going to send it to you and I want you to tell me exactly what it was so I can see how accurate am I getting. And it was pretty freaking accurate. It would be different, the locations. The locations might be a little bit different. They would look a little bit different, but I would come through looking like that version of myself, and we would end up doing the things that I was thinking about. So this is very possible. Okay. This is very possible that daydreams, astral traveling, okay, it can show up to other people. If you're connecting to other people, it can show up to them through their dreams. Even if you don't show up as you, whatever, we're all connected. We're all one, truly, when it comes down to it. Oh, I see Barry showed up. Hi, Barry. Yes, I thought the same. Barry, I thought the same thing when I was drawing that, and that came up from when I was in my 20s. So I thought that was really very, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's so crazy. It's so crazy. Anyway, so back to more of this crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy things, right? Okay. All right. So we're going to hop into the Donald Marshall stuff right after. I think I want to talk about this right now. Well, yeah. So people can get messages this way. People can get the messages that you send out, okay, through dreams. All right. This one is a little bit weird. It's like it kind of fits in with this category, but it kind of is a little bit different because I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you, and you guys can make do with it what you will. All right. So one of the heart wishes that I made, okay, wasn't so much to go back in time or anything like that, but there was this one woman who I was watching on this live stream, and I heard her story, and I could hear her pain. You know, I could really hear. I'll just tell you who it was. It was Niara Isley, right? I just felt so bad for her. She's just was like she's completely given up on love, right? And all this trauma and all this stuff that she's been through, like she just doesn't know how to ever trust again. She was talking about, and I felt inspired, right? So what I did was I went into the astral space, and I held her. I held her, and I poured my heart of my feelings toward, like telling her, like, you did good, like you are loved, you know. I don't, because this was years ago, so I don't remember the full context of the message right now, but I'll tell you how it showed up after I did this, because this was a true heart wish, and it came through. All right, it did come through. It did manifest itself, and I'll tell you exactly how. I had this dream not long after that I was not a daydream either. It's like I'm asleep, I'm having a dream. I'm having a dream that I'm in my family room, and I'm sitting on my couch, and Tyler Koala was there with me. Okay. Tyler was there, and then I was watching a screen in front of me. Okay. And Aaron was on the screen in front of me, and Tyler was talking, and I was next to him, but I wasn't even in a physical form. I was just next to him. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like he could see me for some reason, but he kept looking over at me. Okay. And I remember thinking in the dream, like, oh my God, like I'm next to Tyler Koala. Like it's like at the time, just like these are famous people, right? You know, like Journey to Truth and stuff. Which I still kind of feel that way a little bit about him, right? But now I know him like more one-on-one. So he's a normal guy. He's a cool guy. So anyway, I was thinking to myself, like, wow, you know, like I'm here next to Tyler, and we're talking to Aaron. And he kept looking over at me, and he kept like doing this like weird thing. He just kept looking over at me. And I woke up, and later that week, they did a live stream with Niara Isley, or a video recording of Niara Isley interview, a new one. And Tyler, towards the end of the stream, stops. He kept looking over to his side. I noticed him. He kept looking over to his side during the stream. And finally he says, I'm sorry, Niara, I have to stop you. I just have to deliver this message. I'm being urged by spirit to deliver this message to you. And this is what they want you to know. And then he literally gives her the entire message that I was saying to her when I was holding her in this astral dream space, you know, this astral space where, you know, I can send people messages, and I can tell them the things that my heart wants to say to them, you know? So anyway, you see how that kind of fits in, but kind of doesn't? Do you feel what I'm saying? Yes. Okay, cool. So if your heart is inspired with feelings when it comes to compassion and love and wanting to reassure people, whatever it is, I just follow my heart. That's it. It's like if my heart gets moved by someone's story, it's natural. I just feel this desire. I have to go in there, and I have to think, you know, and I have to give my love to the people that inspire me. I have to. It's what gives me happiness and fulfillment. It's like, I don't know, it's part of the process for me. So let's go ahead now, though, and hop over to the Donald Marshall stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time to go over to that. Just trying to see real quick in my notes here if there's anything that I missed. Okay, so I don't know how much of you all know about Donald Marshall, but I find him absolutely fascinating. Okay, now he's considered like, I forget what he called himself, like the miracle music boy. Like he said, he claims to be responsible for writing like so many of the popular songs. It's just something that's naturally gifted to him. And so he claims that they hijack him at night and they take him to these cloning facilities and they force him, right, to write music for them. And they put him in through all sorts of torture, all sorts of like he claims that he's the inspiration for the cover of this one band where it's like, where like it was a snuff film or something like that he did be a part of. So I mean, like really gruesome things, where he talks about all these different celebrities, all the celebrities that he saw there, and if they were nice and if they were not. And something about it always really just felt really true, like truthful. Like this guy is saying things and he truly believes them, and you can feel that he truly believes them. And I believe that if it can be conceived like that, if it can be shared in a way where it's so truthful like that, that he is really pulling from somewhere. Like that is really coming from something. Kind of like how our movies and TVs and all that type of stuff, like we got those stories from somewhere. They didn't just get, like they don't just make themselves. They're coming from the creator, and the stories that you're drawn to are going to be the stories that are the mirror for you to see yourself in, the characters. Okay. So Donald Marshall basically had put out a call for help, right? And so this was after my high heart activation, and all of these weird things were already happening around me, even with songs and everything. And so since he put out the call for help, I decided, you know what, let's go ahead and answer that call. And so I just prayed and I just asked God and I said, if this is true and if there's any way for me to help, please just let me know what it is that I need to do. Okay. And so I did this and I stayed in this meditative state. I remember I was outside in my front yard underneath this big magnolia tree. Okay. And suddenly a spirit came forward. And this spirit was the spirit of Bernie Mac. Like, Bernie Mac happens to be one of the people that he mentions as one of the good ones, that they killed him, they took him out because he was getting ready to expose the cloning facilities, right? He was getting ready to expose all the stuff, not just the cloning facilities, the clones, all of the stuff. And they killed him for it. And so Bernie Mac appears. He's like talking to me and he's like so happy that I put out this call, and he's like telling me like, I'm going to get the group of celebrities together to help you and assist you. You go ahead and pull your team together, but I'm like so happy that you decided to answer this call, type of thing. And like, let's see, he was even funny. He was cracking jokes. It was very, very interesting energy. And so I was like, okay, pull together a team. So I started going into my own meditative state again, and I started calling forward people that were my friends, that could help me, that could assist. I mean, I put out a general call too, but I did specifically like mentally actually try to connect. And this is how I see it. Okay. When I'm trying to connect to different people telepathically, there's another way I like to envision it that kind of helps me to keep things clear and my intentions of where exactly am I firing this telepathic message to, because it's like a cord that comes out of the heart. Okay. So imagine it's like the heart's the phone, so to speak. Okay, so we got this cord, and I see it as like a telephone operator. Remember how they used to have those cords, and you would have to be like, you would answer the call, and you'd be like, okay, where do you want to go? Okay, transferring you over now. And so that's kind of how I see it. Is that's how I send out these telepathic messages. So I put out the call for a bunch of my friends to come and assist me with this adventure that was called to adventure. Okay. And one of those people, I'll just tell you right now, was Robert Johnston, okay, who was still with us at the time. And the very next day, after I put out this call, and I remember asking for Robert to come, Robert makes a post. And on this Facebook post, he decided, he was inspired to write a list of all the celebrities that were associated with the cloning facilities and Donald Marshall, and who were killed by the elites, right? The You know, like he makes a list of it. Bernie Mac being at the top of that list. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, so Spirit just guided me, and Spirit showing me, all right, we like, here's the team Bernie Mac was going to put together. You know, here's the team. Robert Johnson gave me the list. So I reached out to Robert and I told him, like, hey, this is kind of coincidence, weird stuff happening here. Told him what I did, told him what I was asking for, told him how Bernie Mac was like, yeah, like, let's, like, thank you for offering to help. You know, because even if it's not this realm that we, you know, that we can see, even if it's not this realm, I truly believe that somewhere out there in another, either an alternate parallel earth or timeline or whatever it is, that is really happening. And the consciousness has no limits. There is no limit. Okay. So I tell Robert, you know, like, hey, this is what's going on. It's not the first time that he's had synchronicities line up with me. And so I realized, like, okay, so he's basically taking the form of Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones now. I'm like, he's going to be my knight. He's going to help me. He's going to walk by my side. We're going to go do this thing. All right. And yes, let's go to the next one. So now I ask God, all right, we got this team together. We got these teams together. All right, God, now you have to help me, because if just my mind thinking stuff is astral and all that stuff, if that stuff is real, then tell me, God, what it is, how I need to help out in this situation. Over the next few days to about a week, I was guided, like Spirit insisted, like every day I would wake up and there would be a show or a movie specifically that they wanted me to watch, and they would just, you know how they do, like the ghost thing, you know, like keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it until I watch it. Okay, and there was 3 different shows, movie slash so TV show scenes. All right, the first one was Game of Thrones. Cersei, when she blows up the septum. Okay, one of the best scenes ever. All right, but she blows up the septum, right? Okay, there's wildfire, the green wildfire all underneath it, and it catches fire and it explodes. The weak point and everything caves in. The whole septum caves in. All right, so the next one they told me to watch was Goonies. The Goonies. They had me watch the Goonies. They said, pay attention to the end, basically. The ending is what was important here. Well, what happened at the end of that? Right? They're in a big cave with the pirate ships there, and there's a weak point. And this is where they blow up that weak point and it all caves in. Okay? And then third, they had me watch a scene for an episode of Westworld that had to do with Westworld is about clones, right? It's about the whole system underneath the Westworld, okay, where they make the clones, where they abuse the clones, okay. And so in this particular episode, it was the clones assisting in their own breakout, like humans and clones had combined forces together, and so they were going to assist in helping us to get rid of this one particular cloning facility. See, because that was what the call for help was really about for Donald Marshall. It wasn't just, all right, that they were taking him every single night and forcing him to do all these things. It was that there's this one particular cloning facility that he hated and it burned in him with a passion, right? He described it, and it was a stadium. It was like a stadium. So just like these shows that got Spirit guided me to watch, okay, it was just, he describes it just something very, very similar. So I realized, like, okay, so what we need to do is we need to actually somehow line it up to where we are able to find the weak point of that particular facility, and then we will blow it up. We will find a way and we will blow it up. And so you know, granted, I don't know how I'm ever going to get, like, sorry, got an itch here. Okay, there we go. Granted, I don't know how we're ever going to get real confirmation, right? I thought of this happening, because there's so many different realities that we can all tap into. You know, there's so many different things, you know? And so in this particular one, I just told God, you know, if we do this, if we find a way, because I feel like I definitely, in whatever reality that is, will be putting myself in danger somewhat, me and all my friends that we're going to be doing this. Okay, I said, so as an exchange, I thought, I would ask for Donald Marshall's help basically. After we did this, because I also told him, like, the thing is, buddy, even if we blow up this, they're telling me, Spirit was telling me, even if we blow up this one particular cloning facility, they're just going to move it to another place. You know, like we can blow up this one. Yeah, sure. But just so you know, like they're never going to stop. Like they're never going to stop with them. You know, they're just going to take it to somewhere else. But if this is what you would want us to blow up this one particular place, we'll do it. And in exchange, because I always have a rule when I'm manifesting a little bit, right? My manifestation page was you write what you want for the world, you write whatever good thing your heart is inspired for humanity. And then on the back of the page, I would write, you feel free now to take time to ask for your own personal desires, because the ego is still important. Like the body, we're the one, you know, it's doing the work. It deserves to have that reward. It deserves to have things that make it feel good. And it shouldn't be all just like, you shouldn't be a martyr, so to speak, you know? So on the back side of the page, I would write down what I personally would like to see, what I would like to have happen, right? And so for this particular manifestation, I was saying, we'll do this. And in exchange, I'm going to show you my timeline. I'm going to show you my timeline. And I need you to write some songs for me that my spirit guides can grab and give to me in my life. So that way I can be guided. This will be the exchange, I said. Okay. So, I mean, could it be confirmation that I'm literally getting so many songs that spirit gives me that feel like they're literally written for me, that feel like they're a vibrational match and completely like the lyrics are matching up with the things I'm feeling, things that I'm doing, you know, like I'm not saying, and again, like I'm trying to explain this in a way so that people don't feel like I'm trying to be like, "Hey, look how great I am. I'm just the best thing ever." Like we all are. Like we all are. Like I'm just using my creativity. I'm just actually okay. And I'll tell you why. Because before this, the year before this, I had received a pack of tarot cards. A friend had bought me a pack of tarot cards, right? And I'd already had my Aquarian ones, but this friend bought me a new pack. It was called the Light Seers deck. And inside of it, randomly, I had a duplicate card. And so I knew this card was telling me something really special. Okay. It was the Two of Rods. Right. And the Two of Rods was one of the most important cards, according to Aleister Crowley, even. It was one of the most powerful cards because what it meant was that life was giving you dominion over running your own life, basically, making your own decisions. You know, you have full power, full control. You can use that as you will, right? Wield that power as you will. And so this is what we all have, these abilities. Like, just like I was trying to say last week, it's like God wants you to feel special. God wants you, God loves you the same way when you have, okay, if you have a baby or let's say even a pet, right? And you love that pet, you love that child, you know what I'm saying? Because I know some people don't have, they have fur babies, right? So as much as like you absolutely want to see that baby shine, you want to see them get up and walk, you want to see their excitement, you want to experience that with them, you know, like God wants that for you too. He's doing that for you too. Just how often are we open our awareness up enough to really let that love flow in and sink in and let ourselves feel like, you know, like, wow, God made me, and look at that, look at, aren't you happy, God? Like, look, I'm discovering myself, and God is happy. God is happy. So anyway, I'm trying to get back to where I was going with that. I don't know if I can pull myself back from that. I'm not sure where. I feel like I went far enough with that though, right? Okay. So anyway, I totally believe in Donald Marshall. I'm having really crazy synchronicities with music now ever since then. And I just highly recommend that you guys try doing this stuff in your own ways and see what you get out of it. You know, see if you get those confirmations, something that means something to you. You'll feel it. You'll feel it when it happens. You know, it'll stand out to you. You won't be able to stop thinking about it. You'll be like, wow, that thing, right? And it's because they're trying to tell you. They're trying to Four of Cups. They're trying to tell you. They're putting it right there for you to see. All right, so this is how this type of stuff shows up for me. And now we're going to go on, and I think, okay, yeah, so now we're going to completely shift gears for a second. Because we're going to be talking more about this alternate dream realities, right? Because I do believe that there was another one that I tapped into, and this has to do with another one of the heart wishes that I did. I just don't want to take too long on stream today. Oh boy, and I'm worried that I get into this story and it's like, oh, like, can I get through all of it today in one go? Let me take a breath here. Let me look at the chat again. And then I'm going to jump in, guys. Okay. Oh. I love that song. Yeah. Wait, are you saying that? Wait, Roddy Piper. I'm reading Terry's comment, guys. Hold on. Was in the music video to Cyndi Lauper's Goonies Are Good Enough movies. That, okay, so Roddy Piper was, isn't he? Is he passed away now? I always loved Roddy Piper. He's the They Live guy, right? I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right guy. I hope I am. Goodness. Okay, so what started all this, right? What started even all of the series that I started with, the Blueberry Origin series, the heart wishes, right? Wanting to prove to myself that the heart wishes actually happened, that I manifested something, that it was real, that these prayers that I put out, when I'm moved in such a way, you know, that they mean something and that they help. And so one of the things that I wished for, all right, if it happened, right, the thing is it needs to be repeatable. So now we already did the one with the Dreamcast, right? I needed to know, like, did I force it for like what's going on with that? So we did that. Check. Okay. Well, now there was another one, another person whose story was inspiring me in a very similar fashion. I have to wait. That's the thing. Okay, that's the thing, guys. You know, people sometimes like to come up to me, or they know about some of my story and they want me, I can just tell, I can feel it coming off of them, like I could really use a heart wish, you know, like they want me to work some type of magic, you know. The problem is that I can't do it unless it is inspired naturally. It has to come about of it, like it has to be genuine. It has to be sincere. So just like with the Dream Kiss thing, like I had to have a sincere, genuine attraction to the person, feelings like that would make me want to even ask for this thing. Okay. So in this particular case, there was someone's story that really moved me. And I'll just tell you it was someone I've talked about on here before, someone that I actually did a very, I don't know, my video went kind of hard on them, right? You know, where I did the rap song, I don't fuck with you, right? This is where everything started. I'm going to tell you guys. All right. And honestly, going through this story and preparing for this stream, it really opened my heart up to be able to forgive and let go of things from the past in regards to him. And I feel so much better. I feel so much better. Like I finally got to, like I reminded myself of my purpose, right? Okay. Of what I've been doing here and how it was that, the part that he played. Remember, I said that even at the time, like he has other parts to play still in my story, and I'm going to honor those parts. So I was trying to prove these heart wishes actually happen. And one of them I'd wished for, okay, not only the first, sorry guys, apologize for not being able to get this out in this way. It's like I wished basically originally for another person. I made this similar type of wish. Okay. And in this way, the thing that was similar was I wished that I could go to every moment in time where this particular person whose story was moving me, where I could be there for them and comfort them and hold them in every moment that they needed it the most. And particularly, okay, I was remembering a specific scene from part of the story that he had shared with everyone, which was about how he had to be locked in this cage for a very, very long time. Like they didn't give him a blanket. It was cold. He was wet. Like he was describing this. And I was just so sad that this, like, because I have sons, you know what I'm saying? And here he was, a young child, and he's in this place and cold and freezing and with no one, nothing. And I was, that was the focal point. Okay. That particular thing, which was the thing that really drove me to be like, let me be there for him. Let me hold him in those moments. Let me make sure that he's comforted. You know, it went deeper than that though. Okay. Cause this is, again, this was during a guided meditation that I was inspired to do this. I was thinking this heart wish. Okay. Next one. So during this guided meditation where I was thinking this heart wish and I was saying, I want to comfort him and make sure. Now that was the other part. Yes, that was the other part of the heart wish. I was saying, as I was holding him, I was going to tell him. Remember, people get my messages even if they don't know it's me. It seems like when I do these things. Okay? So I was going to tell him, hold on. Don't forget. Don't give up. Your story is going to be so important. You need to bring back this information to the people. Don't let go, you know. And so this was the heart wish that I put out. And as I was doing this and feeling this way and thinking this thing, Spirit rewarded me. And it rewarded me with something that I had always been curious about. I always wanted to know, which was, what did the face of the Buddha look like for real? When he was alive, what did the face of him really look like? Because, you know, for hundreds of years after he died, he had told people not to make an image of him. He didn't want people worshiping the image of him. That he wanted them to do the inner work and find God themselves. And so he told artists and stuff like, you can only represent me by a pair of eyes or footprints. And so I didn't get to know what the Buddha looked like. I wanted to know so bad. And so as I made this heart wish, with such strong emotion and intention, this image appeared. It was so vivid. It was not 3D. It was not, it's like it came from a higher dimension or something. And it literally just like took shape. Like for my eyes, it was the most vivid image still to this day that I've ever had when it comes to a meditation. All right. It came in and it was like a scene from India. Right. And it was beautiful blue skies. There was trees on the side. All right. And this face appeared before me. It started with the turban, like a wrap, a head wrap of some sort. It was like a bright orange color. And this face appeared. And it had a full beard. All right. And big, beautiful eyes. And you know what? Face of the Buddha looked like the face of this person whose the heart wish I was making. It looked almost identical. And I was like, wow, you know, like maybe that's even why I would want to make this heart wish for him. Maybe because he reminds me of the Buddha. And I love the Buddha so much. The Buddha really brought me through some of the hardest times that I've ever had. And so as I saw this man's face, this Indian man's face, who I believe was the Buddha, I reached out for him to touch his face. And I said, Siddhi. I don't even know why I said that. Like these words, they just come in sometimes. And I said, Siddhi. And my heart knew exactly what it meant. Okay. Even though you'll know the word Siddhi also because it's a psychic gift. All right. Like it's a psychic gift. But for me, what Siddhi meant was this was his nickname. This was the Buddha's nickname because his real name was Siddhartha. We called him Siddhi for short. And so I was so happy that I got this reward, but that was not the only reward I was going to get for this very interesting heart wish. Okay. So 6 months later, all right, I did not tell. I have a hard time telling people about these things, especially if I see some kind of confirmation about it afterward. Like that gets me really excited. That's the thing, the nudge that I need to really like, okay, I'm going to tell the person, you know, like, isn't this crazy? Because I want someone else to like join me in this like ability to be able to do these things. Like, let's make an amazing, like a wonderful adventure for your life. Right. So 6 months later, I watched this stream. Okay. Where basically this person he was doing an interview. All right. And there were certain subjects that came up and he wanted to talk about them, but he held back. And honestly, it was subjects of sexuality and marriage. Okay. And so he held back. He said, I don't want to say anything more than that. Okay. And so for a week, for the next week, it only took a couple days, but so I don't know, next 4 days, let's say, because after day 4, that was when this happened. I went into my heart space. I went to the meditative space, and I sent the message to him. I just said to him telepathically, like, what are you holding back? Like, I'm curious about what it is that you have to say. Could you please talk more on this subject? Every day I would request this from him. I'd go in my head and I would send it. Could you please talk about this subject? And by day 4, he was going on another live stream. Happened to be with the Journey to Truth people again. And that was the only subject he talked about the whole time. And even on the show, he was like, wow, I wasn't planning on talking about this. This wasn't what my plan was, but here I am talking about it, and yeah, the whole show, he talked about the subjects that I asked him to talk about. So I'm like, okay, well, clearly he's getting a message, right? So I decided to go ahead and talk to him, and I reached out to him, and I told him about this heart wish I made. I told him the whole experience, and I remember his response was, so you're the blue one, he said. And that in itself was enough to really make me happy and think, okay, maybe he was able to sense me. I don't know, because so far from the track record here, it seems like I can send people messages. I can send myself to people in dream spaces. I can get in touch with people in their astral bodies or whatever it is, connecting with them. I can do all these things, but people don't know it's me. They don't notice. They aren't. It's not like the message came through them and like, oh, Cassandra asked you to talk about this. No, he just felt this natural urge to talk about these things, and he did, right? Like even with the dream about the channeler, where I was sleeping next to him, holding him, and he got up and woke up and was walking around, and I'm yelling at him, like, I'm right here. Don't you see? No, they don't see me. They don't see me. Okay. So weird. Well, whatever. I've accepted this. Okay. So he said, so you're the blue one. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. And this is what began our talking. This is what eventually began to lead into the relationship that I had with him. All right. It didn't start off that way. It didn't turn into that right away. But, so we started talking, and a couple months after that, I was having, like, we were like going to be going to this next conference together, right? So we were talking about this conference and stuff like that, and getting worked up for this conference. And it was the night that I was being pulled out of my body. I had this crazy experience where I don't even know if it was a dream. I don't even know if you can call it a dream. I just know that I was being pulled out of my body through this tube, and I kept I could literally feel it yank me out, my spirit, like a jolt. And it was pulling me out. I was going through this tube, and I was going somewhere. And I would see the guy there. I would see him there. Okay. And then I would be pulled back into my body, and it was like a jolt back. And so then I would do it, and it would happen again. And it was happening like all night long. And I remember I woke up and I said, and I wrote him a message too, because I had a word that came back with me. And I was trying so hard to hold on to it. And I kept saying it was like India corn. Like what is, like, I'm not sure what it was saying, but it was like something like India corn. He said Inyokern. Okay. And this is some government facility that had to do with the whole thing that he went through, right? The whole SSP experience that he'd gone through. So I thought that's very weird that I'm getting pulled out of my body like that, and I'm hearing Inyokern. Like, what is that all about? I'm not really sure here. But eventually there came a point. I did this DMT trip. See, this is the thing. I don't think this DMT trip was a good thing for me. I'm not sure if they had the most positive benefits. You know what I'm saying? Because I had this dream, this DMT trip, right? And then after I did this trip, Spirit triggered me to remember this dream that I had in the packet of dreams that had been given to me 4 years prior to that, right? 4 years prior to my heart activation, when my soul brain walk-in first came, there was a one particular dream out of all of the ones that were going to be these different conferences that I was going to, right? And it was in the middle of them. And if we know what we know now about the fact that all of those other dreams happened, every single one of those other dreams happened, the elements were all the same. Like, okay. And so I'm just going to give you an example, and then we're going to go to the dream, the dream that I'm about to talk about now. Okay. Because it's a little bit weird. So the first dream that I realized out of these packets that came true, right, was the one that you guys heard me talk about a million times. The one where there was the dock with the red lights going down on it, and there were cruise ships at the end of the dock. Like, this was the dream of that conference, my sacred marriage, my heart activation. Okay, the dream was basically this. It was me hanging out with some friends at nighttime on a beach, and there was a dock with red lights going down it, and there were cruise ships at the end, and we were going and we were playing on the cruise ships is what we were doing. And so you see how it's like the same, but it's a little bit different, right? Because obviously we weren't really on the cruise ships, but the cruise ships were there, you know? So then the next part of the dream was I was working, it was daylight, and I was working in an office of some sort. Not really an office so much as it was like, it was a business. There were papers in front of me. I wasn't even doing anything with these papers. I really felt like I really don't even need to be here to do any of this, but this was my job. I knew in the dream, like, this was my job. I was in this, it looked like, a big office building on a beach. It was on sand. Okay. And I'm looking at these papers. That's literally what I had to do for my volunteer work. This place was literally a hotel on a beach. Okay. It did have office space to it. Okay. And that was my job. That's what I said. I spent there. I didn't even have to do anything other than basically look at these papers and like to check people in, like, oh, I see you there. You're like, okay. And then, you know what they did though? They left out the day of the ball. They left that out, and they just skipped me over to the very last day, which was me going home. Okay. And then me coming up against this brick wall, so to speak, where everyone had these ladders and I didn't have a ladder, right? And you know what it reminded me of, honestly? It reminded me of the Seven of Swords. Okay, which Seven of Swords is like kind of like doing things, like hiding some things, like you have thoughts and you're hiding them, right? You don't really know what someone's doing with those thoughts and feelings, you know, things they want to share. So anyway, that was the one dream that had, and all of the rest of them were a bunch of the conferences I was getting ready to go to, and I was going to be a speaker at. One of them, I even had a dream where I was going to be a speaker in the dream, and that ended up happening. That was even the space of where I was going to be speaking in was the same in the dream. I was like, this is crazy. So let's go ahead and open this bag of worms up, shall we? Bag of worms, can of worms, bag of cats. Let's get this over with. So I had this dream, and it wasn't a dream; it's a memory, because these are memories that I was tapping into. The only reason I remember this particular day in the dream, I'm telling myself the only reason I'm even going to remember this is because it's my last day. This is the last day, my last mission. All right. And so I'm wearing some type of suit. I'm with a bunch of other people. Okay. And we were looking in front of this mountain face. Okay. There was like, okay, how do I put, like a mountain, right? And our job, me and this team, our job was to blow up the side of the mountain where these holes were, because there were insectoid beings in it, and we were killing the insectoid beings. And I remember this. I remember that was the whole point of it, is we were blowing up their interests to like trap them in there, and then anyone that were getting out, we were like shooting them. And so, the mission was done. We finished. The group of us go. We gather back at like a camp, like an internment camp. I don't know if that would be the right word for it, but like we're going back to the place where we all gather after missions, and we're all hanging out. And it honestly reminded me of like high school a little bit. Like there were groups of people that would hang out. I knew that these were like little cliques of people. Okay, just like in like high school. Okay, and the girls there were jealous of me. And they were jealous of me because I had a boyfriend. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, you know, that they were jealous. But I remember them being pretty vicious about it. And but we were getting a reward because it was our last day. All right. So they call it, we were all like lined up. All right. And the reward they gave us, okay, remember, just like with the other dream, right? There was a dock with the cruise ships at the end, and we were playing on the cruise ships. That obviously we couldn't really play on the cruise ships, but the elements were there, right? So now back to where I was at, right? They were giving us a reward for the fact that we just finished this. This was our last day. I'm going to go home after this. I've been here, I don't know how long. And it was like a little box, and inside the box was toiletries, like soap and paper, toilet paper, and whatever else like that. In my mind, like that was what I saw, and I was like, this is our reward, like toiletries, but okay, whatever. And so now that the day was over, we did that. We were actually planning, we were going to have like a gathering, a celebration, like a high school dance the next day. All right. But I went with my boyfriend, and we went to go do a bunch of stuff like that. We started doing things. We went out to eat. We went to get food or whatever. We got food. I remember the place looked like Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner movie, 2049, I think it was called. It reminded me of that in the dream, the way the city was. And there, like, I remember even like, it felt like it was, because it was dark, it like cold, it felt kind of chilly there. I remember the weather. I remember the temperature. Okay. And so we were going back to our room, me and my boyfriend, after we did all this stuff, and we were going back to this room that we spent time in. And I can see the hallway still. I can see the hallway or the alleyway. And there was like tin, how they have tin roofs, right? Like it was a tin like siding over here, and the door was to the left for the bedroom, the one room. It was just a room. It had like a dirt floor, didn't even have a door. Had a bed and a table and maybe like a TV or clock or something like that. And so we spent time together there. And the next day we got up to do our normal things. I'm getting ready to head on out. I'm going to check out. So I go to the airplane hangar, where this is where I'm going to leave from. Okay. And when I get to the airplane hangar, it's full of a bunch of cages. And those cages are how you get to the location. You come in a cage and you leave in a cage. Okay. And I saw someone there. So when I knew and recognized, and they just got there. So I knew they were actually just starting whatever it was that we were doing there, right? They were going to be there for a long time. I was not. I was going to be going home. And so I left the airplane hangar, and I was going to this little shop or something like that. It was like a souvenir type shop or something, like I want to say like a cantina or something. I don't know. But it had these keychains. It had keychains you could buy. And I thought to myself, why do they sell these things when we cannot take anything back with us? Nothing. Why do they sell these things? This is weird. And I woke up. Okay. So what am I supposed to make of that? What am I supposed to make of that, right? I do this heart wish. And then I realize after the heart wish, not only after the heart wish, but the DMT trip I had. See, that's the thing. We don't really know how everything works. We don't really understand how time works, how time traveling, all that type of stuff works. These alternate realities, these parallel timelines, parallel Earths. You know what I'm saying? Like the DMT trip, I believe, that I did a few years ago, I believe that was when this whole thing happened to me. And this is why I believe this, because they always talk about it being a 20 and back, right? How even some people do more than that. Okay. Now this isn't something I'm going to dive into any more deeply than what I have from it already afterwards, just because like that's not really my whole gig. This is just an experience I had. And what am I supposed to make of it? Knowing what I know about all of my dreams, all of those other dreams happened. So how could this one particular one that's almost exactly, it's so similar. So I'm like, is this hive mind dream technology that they're putting us in. So I'll tell you about the DMT trip. So the DMT trip I had, basically, I was forced out of my body. It felt like I was on this table. There were all these light beings that looked like it was just so bright. They looked light, right? And they were all around me, and they were telling me to stay still and not move for whatever it was they were doing. And once you know it, when I go finally after this fact, and I read this guy's book, and he's describing the process of the consciousness transfer, it felt like what I experienced during this DMT trip. Okay. And now when I came back from this DMT trip, I was not the same. Okay. I did not even remember how I felt like to be human anymore. All my routines were gone. I don't know. It was just like, how do I even live here on this planet right now? I don't even remember how did I do this? So I go home, right? I'm shook up because there was more than just that happening at the time too, which I'm going to get into in future streams. But I come home and my children tell me, two of them, my most psychic ones basically, tell me they had a dream about me, a really weird dream about me. First, my daughter tells me that she had a dream about me that I died, and that an alien came and said, I'm your mom now. Like, I love you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm your mom now. And she was like, that's really the only gist of the dream I remember. There was more of it at the time, but I remember she was just like, yeah. And then, my new mommy was taking care of me now, which I think is kind of strange considering my soul braid walk-in, right? That she was sensing that, she was picking up on that. And so then the second dream, though, this is the one that I was like, okay, maybe something more happened to me during that experience. Maybe it either unlocked something to allow me to remember this, okay, or like it unloaded all of it once it unlocked that. But my son Joshua, he had a dream the same time, okay, the same time period when I was gone and I did this DMT trip. He had a dream that I was outside of our house at the time, and it was dark, and an alien spacecraft came and it took me, and I was only supposed to be gone. I told him I'll only be gone for 15 minutes, but in fact I was gone for 40 years. And my DMT trip did last 15 minutes. That's about how long it took for me to get all the way through it. So I don't know, I mean, do any of us really know? Like, I'm entirely not convinced that any of this is real anymore. I've been going to some really intense places lately, guys, where I'm just like, is any of this really real? Am I just one being? Is the law of assumption true? And I'm just one being, and everyone outside of me is just my subconscious trying to guide me. Like, what is really happening here? How do we even connect all these things? So, wow, I managed to get through that without even looking at any of the notes about that. So here's my other idea, okay? And this is what Spirit guided me to think about after writing all this stuff down, after thinking about all this stuff, okay? And that this being like, I mean, it's just a little bit weird that this dream lines up with his story a little bit. I mean, what was the one thing that made him hold on to his memories the most that he talks about in his book, in his life? What was it? It was the girlfriend, Marie. She was what helped him hold on. Not just that, but it was a reptilian too. Reptilian saved him from being completely mind wiped again or something like that. I forget what it was exactly, but I remember I'm like, it's just some very strange coincidences, right? So anyway, Rick and Morty. There's an episode where basically Rick reveals to Morty, and they have to go doing a little bit of traveling into this world, this universe that Rick created in order to give him the energy. It was a battery for his spaceship, basically. Okay, so what he did was he created a universe, and inside that he would, put himself into it, and he'd go to the people as an alien, and he'd be like, basically, this is what you need to do in order to be good people or whatever it is. You have to do you have to work basically. And so they were doing this like treadmill type of thing. That was what their whole life was about. They just, every day they would do this treadmill thing for a certain number of hours, and that would put this energy output into wherever it was going. And where it was going was Rick's spaceship, right? It was going into his spaceship to run his spaceship. And like Morty was quite disturbed by this fact. He's like, you have a whole entire planet in here that just works solely just to power your spaceship? Like, really? Like, you don't think that's a little fucked up? Like these people, it's a good episode. I definitely highly recommend you watch any Rick and Morty episodes, because they do give us some disclosure, right? Okay, so this is what it was making me wonder, like, could this alter, like, imagine, consciousness is energy, the way we can direct it is energy. If what they're doing is somehow being able to borrow our consciousness and to put it in this other dream reality, this other alternate timeline or whatever, and they're able to get us to use us for our energy over there for however long, 20 years, 40 years, whatever, and then send us back, our consciousness back into this place, back into our timeline, right? Like I haven't quite caught on to all of what Spirit's trying to say, but I hope you guys feel what I'm saying. Like, maybe that could be some of it somehow. It's like energetically, like they're getting free labor from it somehow, like this stuff needs to be powered somehow. So they're borrowing us. God, do you feel me? Do you sense what I'm saying? Are you feeling me yet, guys? Hi, Chris, by the way. I see you in there. Yes. I remember that one. Love that show. Which show are you talking about? Soft Disclosure. Oh, Rick and Morty. Yeah, Rick and Morty. Turns himself into a pickle, right? Pickle Rick. Okay. So anyway, I think that might be the end of everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm glad I got through all of it. So, trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about when it comes to this. What else was on my little post? That was it. The alternate dream reality. I don't know. Was I a part of it? Was I a part of it? Like, what is going on there? Obviously, something has to be be going on there for me to be connected in this way, to have this dream memory. Because even if, let's say, even if it wasn't him specifically that I was connected to when it came to this experience, there was something that was so similar about it that it inspired me. You know what I'm saying? To feel that way, to want to make those something has to be driving me in order to feel those feelings, in order to have that intention, in order to have that desire. Like, for the first heart wish, it was the fact that this person turned out to be my genetic equal, right? Okay. For this particular case, well, it looks like we might have lined up been in some alternate reality together, creatively. Some of the other ones, right? Like, with Niara, I felt like she was connected to my Lyran self, my Lyran family. That was what moved me the most, was like, they wanted her to know so bad. Oh, you gotta go. Yeah, Chris is on vacation. Yeah, get out of here. Go enjoy Cancun. Whatever. Enjoy the sun while we're up here in the freezing cold. You're gonna miss the coldest days too. It's gonna be it's supposed to be like -1 degree on Monday or something. Guys, yeah, that's how cold it's gonna be up here in Michigan. Okay, I feel pretty good about today. I'm glad. I'm glad I got through all that. I feel pretty good about today's stream. If there's any questions that you have for me about it, any clarification, if you have any experiences of your own that you want to comment on, feel free to put them in the chat now. But for anyone that's listening in the future, feel free to put them in the comments. Please make sure you hit the like button. Help me out. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. feel like I really need a drink of water after all that because we're getting ready to pull tarot cards, right? Mm-hmm. All right, I'm grabbing a water. Not all the way off the screen, but I had to grab it. Yeah, I feel good about this one because all I have to do when I get out here, I just have to remember my own life. That's all I really have to do. Just remember my life and talk about it here. And I'm real excited still to get into some more of the subjects that I have previously mentioned in the last stream. I'm excited to pull some more of that together. I realized it went into more of galactic stuff, astral. So like I went into a different side of things today than I did this side. Like I went into more of the paranormal side of things, the more unexplained, you know. But I plan on getting more back into the psychology and the patterns and things of that nature in the future. So definitely stick around. Mm-hmm. All right, hold on, right in the chat here. My lips are so fucking dry. I need my lipstick. Need my chapstick. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's saying it sounded like I did a remote viewing. Yeah, that was basically what it was. Yeah, you could say that. That's what it was. I was remote viewing the clients and people. I didn't even think to connect it to that. I'm going there. I'm just going there, guys. I'm just going there. You can go there too. Just try it. You never know. But you have to be willing to practice. It's not something you can just do once and be like, oh, I did it and I'm done. I've been doing this stuff for a while. Because as a mom of 6 children, there wasn't a whole lot of getting out of the house that I could do for a very, very long time. So how else was I to travel? How else was I to do any of that stuff? I found ways. Now I actually travel. Now I go to these events and these places. It all started with that Soul Bride walk-in. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull the fortune cookie, do the tarot cards, and then I'm gonna head on out of here for tonight because this was kind of a little bit of a long one. Yeah. Okay. You ready? Gosh. I just keep thinking about some of the clips that I was watching this morning that my good friend Barry sent me about the doctor, the 4th doctor, and the watcher. Oh God, I didn't tell Victor. Oh, I forgot about them. Oh, guys, sorry. Usually Victor's here. Tell me what? There's someone missing. I'm like, who is it? Usually I tell Victor about my stream. I forgot to tell him about it today. Oh well, I'll tell him after. See how these things just pop in afterward now that we got the other stuff out of the way. I record that out. Oh, I'm feeling good. Oh, baby. All right, so yeah. What fortune cookie do we need to have? Is this the one? All right, you ready to see we got 2 cookies. Wow. Guys. 2 cookies. Double the trouble today. Double the trouble. Okay. Let's see what we got. First one. Okay. A new perspective will inspire innovation. Well, I'm sure glad we got a second one. A new perspective will inspire innovation. Let's see what the second one is. What our double trouble is. Oh, all right. Your friends will bring color and vibrancy to your world. If that ain't the truth. My God, if that is not the truth. Barry, you still in the chat? You still here? Let me know. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh, baby. Let's do this tarot card for the collective. I do think that next week I'm not sure if I'm going to stream yet or not next week, just because I have a friend visiting from out of town. So, not sure yet. But if I do, I was planning on pulling tarot cards for people in the chat directly instead of just doing it for the collective. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, either in the comments or in the chat now. If you think that would be good, maybe that's what we'll just do, just that next week. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Already chatting to me. Let's go ahead and put down my methylene blue and get ready. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling lots of good energy come through here. Okay. The Empress. They're like Empress energy just came through here. Oh. What message does the spirit? What message does the spirit? I'm asking Source Creator, please assist me in this tarot reading. What they're wanting me to be like, what perspective should we take, right? Okay. What message does the collective need to hear? What message does the collective need to hear? What message? Here we go. Boom. First card. 3 of Rods. Oh, you're in the middle of a waiting game right now. This is time sensitive. Okay. The 3 of Rods is about waiting for that right opportunity to jump. Okay, just imagine it. There's there's ships coming up the river. You're never going to know what's on those ships if you don't chase down there and go take a look and peek for yourself. Like you're waiting for an opportunity like that to where you can take the next step in your journey forward. It's like you're at a pause. You're like at a pause period here. It's like, okay, it's like that breath right before you do the jump, right? When you dive into the water, so to speak. I'm seeing like a cliff where it's that moment where you're right there and you're taking that breath. You're like, okay, I'm about to do this thing. Okay, but you have to wait for that right moment of inspiration. And it's funny because I kind of did ask that a little bit when it came to the new perspective that will inspire innovation, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the next card. The next piece of energy is tell us the collective. Tell us more. Continue on this 3 of Rods. Tell us more. Okay, we got the Knight of Rods. Okay, so again, this is some fiery energy. You're getting ready to be making some actions. You're getting ready to be getting out there and continuing on your journey, because again, the 3 of Rods is waiting to start his journey. He's like waiting for that right opportunity to jump aboard. Okay, And the type of energy that he needs to bring forward doing that is he can't overthink it. You can't overthink. You have to just do. This guy is plenty protected. Okay, because I'm noticing like his helmet, and he's protected. Okay. Let's see. He's got a lot of, he's being flexible. Okay. He's being a flexible guy right now. He's got flexibility at his back. Okay. Now, this guy, classically, he's the kind of guy who, again, he's a thinker. I mean, he's a doer, not a thinker, okay? Because rods is action. It needs to burn. Okay, so for this particular guy, he needs to have something, an end goal to chase, something, that carrot, so to speak. He needs that carrot to pine for, to yearn for, to go after. All right, and so at this point, since we got it linked to this card, right? So he's waiting for that opportunity to jump and to go forward. And when he does, he's going to have to just rely on his instincts. Okay, and realize that it's not really so much about the goal at the end. It's not about reaching or achieving the goal at the end of what it is that he's going for. It's about the journey. All right, it's about having that thing there to want. Because that's what rods are about. They're about desire. They're about passion. They're about actions. Okay, let's go ahead and pull one more card, though. Yep, tune back in. Yep. What's the last program message here for this next week? What's the next program message here? Justice. So this could be good or bad, right? Depending on what side of the scale you are, what side of the scale you're on. Sorry, excuse me. But rest assured, what's done is done. And people are going to get what they deserve. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to look at some of the other things to see what I can see. So it's almost like, okay, because we got a red square here. You notice the crown. Okay, so whatever way in which you are looking at this thing, you are looking at it again. There's this red fire, action, burning, going for things. The third eye is open, and it's seeing things. I'm getting the square is something that's like more materialistic. It's more the material plane. It is seeing things from the root level because of the red. Like the thoughts are just streaming off of them. Like the swords, you can see it's like they've cloaked themselves in that. Oh yeah, cloak themselves in order to be able to be seen, right? That's the only way form can be seen in this place, is if it is cloaked with words and sound. Okay. So we're waiting for that opportunity to jump. He's going to take that journey, and whatever the outcome is of this journey, okay, it is what it is, and it's done. Whatever needs to be happening here, okay, it will be just. It will be fair. The universe has spoken. The sword will be swung. Let's just hope, and the thing is, it's also reminding me of the fact that doesn't Trump get sworn in, right? Trump gets sworn in, yeah, this next week. So on a larger scale, that definitely could be talking about this. If they're waiting for that opportunity, it's time to go forward with it. And what's done is done. Justice will be served. Again, this is another protection card. I'm seeing like they're protected from the evil eye. So you can see these eyes on here. Angelic protection. These irises are symbolizing something. I just haven't quite figured it out yet. I feel like they're bendable a little bit too. So flexibility seems to keep coming up here. So remember to be flexible. Remember to be flexible when it comes to plans and going forward on your journey. Okay. I hope that helps. Let's go ahead and slap these away here. Done. All right. Should we do an oracle card and leave, or should we just leave now? I guess I got to make that decision. Which oracle card should we do then? I didn't think this far ahead earlier. Okay. You know what we didn't do? We did the Sacred Sea last week, so we'll do the Druid Animal Oracle deck this week. This is what we're doing. I hope it comes out good. I felt like this was a little bit hard to understand last time. So let's go ahead and let's open it up. Yes! Yay! We're going to do it. Here we go. You know, I saw deer footprints in my front yard this morning. Ooh, hawk. That's pretty. Look, it's blue. Anyway, yeah, I saw deer hooves in the snow outside my front door. So a deer came to visit me last night. Isn't that cool? Oh, yeah, we're down to 3 people. Oh, yeah. I know there's a lot of other live streams going on tonight, so I'm like, I was like, oh man, there's some of them I wanted to go to too, and I'm like, no, it's too late. I'm already planned mine. I'm like, I'll have to go rewatch those ones later. All right. What oracle card does the collective need to hear? What oracle card? These are a lot harder to shuffle. They're very big. Very big deck here. What does the collective need to hear from this oracle deck? All those in the chat now. Watching in the future. Okay. All right, we're going to pull now. We're ready. Oh, I'm hearing a Muse song come in. Butterflies and a hurricane. Okay. Here we go. What? Yes. Okay. Card we got is the Sow. Okay. Oh, look at that, all the babies. Okay. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and, it doesn't have a number on here. That's one of the tricky parts sometimes, is just finding it in the book when it's not in, oh, turn right to it. Okay. Okay. So the Sow, the keywords are generosity, nourishment, and discovery. All right, so it says the meaning is mook. That's the mook. All right, so that must be the name of the character here. Okay, mook. With her large litters, okay, mook with her large litters symbolizes abundance and fertility. Drawn upright, this card may mean that you are called upon to be generous, feeling connected to the love of the goddess for all her creatures. You are able to give freely, knowing that you, in turn, are nourished and sustained by her. Choosing this card, you can open yourself to the abundance that exists throughout nature, knowing that life perpetually renews itself and that you need not worry about ever being disconnected from it. Allow yourself to feast on life, to enjoy its beauties and its sensual delights. The goddess is generous, giving to all and renewing all. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I really liked that. Hello, Kelly. Nice to see you. Oh, wow. Look at this one on the bottom. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we're going to have to use this deck again. Fire Dragon. That's pretty sweet. Almost want to, there's an Air Dragon. Wow, look at all these. Almost want to pull one more just to see. Ram. Okay, so yes, that is our oracle deck. That concludes the stream pretty much, guys. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to ask or talk about. about any of the stuff that I've talked about now or even in the past, you can talk. You can ask. I know it's hard sometimes because honestly, I'm terrible at coming up with questions. Absolutely terrible. Like by the time I think of a question, everything is done, and I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. But I have a very hard time thinking of questions to ask. Yeah, I think I'm about to go smoke a joint and listen to some music. I know. It's all right. Yeah, you can rewatch. It was pretty good. I felt really good about it. I'll just say that. I don't always feel good about my streams, but I felt pretty positive about it. Like I got a lot out, and I hope that it's helpful. I hope some people find it helpful and some people can put this stuff to use and practice because we're just so much more capable of anything that what they tell us that we are. There's so much more that we are able to do. Like I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about the fact that think about all those people that came before us that had to hold on to all this information about, the disclosure stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, and slowly but surely, like, I can't even imagine having woke up so far back, like 20, 30 years ago, even longer, and having to sit here through all of this. And now finally people are starting to open their eyes a little bit and people are finally starting to wake up. And I am pretty excited to see what Trump has to do upon getting in office. I don't know what's going to, I heard that he's going to abolish the federal income tax and the IRS, and he's going to establish an external revenue service instead and start making all the people who've been profiting off of America start paying us back, basically, making sure that stops happening, which I'm very hopeful about it. Just want to see some actual change in the human condition and the fact that we are so much more connected than most people could even imagine, most normies anyway. I feel like spiritual community, we all know though, right? You get those nudges, you be thinking about someone and the next thing you know what, they text you and wow, wouldn't you know, it's like the exact thing that you were thinking about them in regards to, and it's like, that can't be coincidence. It can't be coincidence. He threatened a trade war with Canada. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. That is funny. Oh, I appreciate you too, Braden. I appreciate you too. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's actually a really good idea, Kelly. I don't normally do that, but I think today we will. Let's pull a card for it, shall we? Taking them back out. We're pulling a card. Let's get the vape. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. I'm kind of curious myself, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. All right, one more card, God. Yes, let's see, what is Trump doing here when it comes to Canada? Okay. Card for Canada and the Trudeau government. Okay. Get Trudeau out of there, right? Okay. Let's do this. Trump. What does Spirit want to tell us? Trump. Canada. What does Spirit want to tell us? It's about ready. One more shuffle and it'll be ready. Hold on. Just putting a bunch of images in my mind so that way they know exactly what we're trying to focus in on, harness in on. Okay. Okay, let's talk about Trump and the government. How is that country going to be doing here with this inauguration and all that stuff? Boom, first one. Two of Swords. So clearly there's a decision that needs to be made here. Okay, a big action. Sword's going to get swung. Okay, the problem is that not all the information is present and necessary to make that decision at the moment. So we don't have all the information that we need yet in order to know which sword is going to be swung, you know, like a yes or a no, right? Okay, let's go ahead and I want to see what was. Okay, no, that was popping out. Okay, let's pull two more though. Okay, tell us more about this. Two of Swords. Tell us more about this. Okay, Queen of Cups. Okay, so we got some feminine energy that needs to come on through here. Okay, some psychic feminine energy, compassion, heart. It's time for the feminine, the divine feminine, to step up and speak up on behalf of all of this stuff. I'm getting this sense, I don't know why, but it just came to me like Melania Trump. Reminds me of Melania. Okay, and she's definitely royalty. And we got this purple gemstone. Like in the Justice card, we had that red gemstone on the third eye. Well, now we have a purple one. So this is coming from a higher spiritual plane. The information she brings, the perspective. It's almost like that's our projector, you know, right here. Like that's a representation of the projector of our consciousness. So she sees things from a higher consciousness standpoint, and she definitely acts on it. Like she's got this Kundalini energy, right? It's just pouring off of her head. Okay, the thing is that she really has to get in touch with what is in her heart and what she truly desires. Like it's a big heart though. Look at that. Like I just get this feeling like she's got a lot of emotional energy to give and divine consciousness. Okay, let's go ahead and pull one more though. Let's pull one more for Canada. What's the last part of the message you want to get for people? Which one? Canada. What's the last part of this message? Okay. Last part is Eight of Swords. Okay. Oh boy, you know, I had a feel. I don't know why I thought this card would come out with this one too, because I was thinking about it a little bit in regards to this one, because they both have that blindfold. Okay, so yet again, a decision cannot be made really yet because we don't have we're blindfolded still. We don't have all the information here, and now it's like this oh, okay, like maybe this is Trump going after Canada, right? Tying them up. You know, like putting, like saying, like, hey, like you're either going to do this thing or I'm going to come at you. But either way, we're surrounded by a lot of ideals, right? There's so many different ideals, so many different opinions. And it's like, it feels like kind of like trapped. Like, what do? We don't even know which way to turn, which way to go. You know, but eventually we're going to figure out that if we just lean up against one of those ideals, one of those swords, we can free ourselves. We can unwrap ourselves. We can unbind ourselves from the situation and the state that we're in, where it's like we cannot even see what's going on for real. So someone has to be strong enough in their communication wise that allows the people of Canada to be freed and feel like they have the ability to remove the blindfold and see everything. Like they can't even see everything. They can't even go look to see everything because they've been so tied up. They've been so tied up and bound. But I think that this female energy is going to be the main one coming through to help the people. Okay. It's almost like she sees this. Like she sees that. Wait, what way I'm looking at it? It's like she's looking at it. She sees the people like this. And the decision must be made. But just so you know, the decision has not been made yet. The timeline is still up in the air. Okay. And just do some, I would definitely send some prayers to the whole administration and helping Canada as well. Because I know they have done some, Canadian government has done some even more fucked up things, which is very sad. Definitely pray for my Canadian friends and family members there. I love you guys, you know. I say we just become one, right? Just Canada becomes part of America, Mexico becomes part of America, Greenland, we'll get Greenland too. Let's bundle them all up. No, I'm kidding, but I am. I know Trump messes around with it a lot, but I just say I love you guys. I want us all to get along and have a better world to live in. Okay. I hope that helps. I hope that helps, Kelly. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right? Exactly. I've seen some. There's some people in the community that definitely have said that the insider information that they've got, like I'm thinking of Daryl James, said that it was lining up with a lot of the stuff that he heard, that eventually in the future we were going to be, merging into one. But I think he said Alaska was going to be going back somewhere else, though, to some like Soviet Union, Russia. Wow, names of countries. I don't know, so they had a coin minted for it. Really? Wow. Yes, that's true, Kelly. We all are one no matter what. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Wow. That's a long time to be researching something. You must know it like the back of your hand. Mm-hmm. That is really cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love you guys. Mm-hmm. All right. On that note, I'm getting ready to leave. Gotta know the truth. That's literally what drives me. I just want to understand truth, divine truth. Yes. Good night. Good night, everyone in the chat. Good night, you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. For all those people that are lurking in the background, make sure you hit the subscribe button. All right. Oh, diabolical.